I came across a radio station called UCB, a Christian radio station.
Yeah.
So even though I'd come back and I felt really strange, I'd stumbled across a Christian radio station at the same time. And I remember hearing about these words of this man called Jesus and how he's a father to the fatherless and how he died for us so that we could live. And I remember crying my eyes out thinking, who is this Jesus? Like, I don't have a father. Like, I want to know who this father is to the fatherless.
Yeah.
Check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it.
Hey, Greg and the CE coming.
Welcome to Mel's Truthful Tuesday. We do have another special guest and I'm so excited for her to join me. As you know, this is a talk show that talks about unfiltered conversations around empowering untold stories. So we're excited today because we are going to be talking about childhood traumas. And a lot of people, we don't want to talk about these subjects because it's quite difficult. And some people right now are not even being able to talk about situations. So we did bring on our beautiful guest and I want you to welcome her. Her name is Chantell Leonie Hayles. I nearly forgot your surname.
It's fine.
Welcome, Chantell.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you could be with us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. So Chantell, just, relax. I know I'm sure you're relaxed and I know that you've done this so many times. But just tell the viewers a bit about yourself. Tell them a bit about your history, your story, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so a lot of I know we're talking about childhood traumas today,
Yes.
and a lot of my trauma started from very early. I remember just being about 3 and just feeling rejected because I didn't have my dad.
Wow.
And even from very, very early, I used to feel like I'm the reason that my dad wasn't in my life.
Wow.
And I really, really struggled with that. It was a big thing for me.
So when you say 3 years old, how did you kind of knew that at 3 that you felt that rejection? Where did that come from? Who kind of told you that that's that feeling that you should be having?
Yeah, so it was kind of like, I think it was more like, I can name it as rejection now because I know what it is, but at the time it was like an absence that was in my life that I really felt that the presence of my dad was missing. And my mum met my stepdad when I was 4 and she had my little sister when I was 4 as well.
Okay.
And I remember just feeling like I finally got this unit now. I finally got a dad in my household.
Yep.
But I still longed for my own actual biological dad and I didn't have him. And I just remember that feeling of that emptiness and that void and just feeling like, where's my dad? And so even when I got into primary school, when I look back now, I know that my behaviours in primary school was more of me outwardly expressing what was going on the inside. So I was constantly getting in trouble in primary school.
Oh, really?
And I remember getting suspended when I was about 7 for having a fight with a girl because I was jealous of her because she had a dad and I didn't have my own dad.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your stepdad, was he actually, was you calling him dad or was you calling him by his name? What was that set up?
Yeah, I didn't call him dad because I knew he wasn't my dad. And it didn't feel right calling him dad, but I used to call him by his name.
Right.
But he didn't actually live with us. He lived in a different city.
Really?
So he would spend a lot of time in Birmingham because that's where I'm from with us. But he wasn't always there. He was there the majority of the time, but still, I'm still longing. I'm like, where is my actual dad and why is he not around me?
So tell me a little bit of history of your dad not being there. Tell me a little bit about where did that all start? Did your mum and dad just break up? Did you know your dad? What was the setup for that?
So I think they split up when I was 1.
Okay.
And it's not that I didn't see my dad at all, because I did, but hardly ever. He actually lived in London.
Right.
He moved to London, so I wouldn't really see him. And I remember coming home from school one day and my mum saying, I've got a surprise for you. And I remember going into the kitchen and my dad was hiding behind the door. And the joy that I felt just by seeing him, I was so ecstatic as a kid to be able to see my dad.
Yes, of course.
Something, that should be a normal thing that you see every day. But for me, it was like, wow, this is such a big thing. I get to see my dad today.
Wow.
So yeah, it was hard because I
Yeah.
didn't see him often, and then he ended up moving to New York, so
Oh,
I hardly
wow.
saw him at all. Yeah,
Wow. And did he have other children before you or after you?
no, I
No?
am my dad's only
Only
child.
child?
Yeah,
Wow.
but again, my stepdad, he was that father figure to me, so I would look at him as my hero. And it's gonna sound really crazy when I say this, but do you remember the very, very old film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
The first one that came out.
Yeah.
Like when you think back now, the dinosaurs actually look like plastic. Like
Yes,
that doesn't even. But at the time, I was so scared of dinosaurs, and I remember there'd be times where I'd be in bed and I used to say to myself, if dinosaurs ever came back, I know my stepdad would save me, because in my eyes, he was like a savior because he was the only one
Right.
that was around.
Yeah.
And also, I was getting into like with the getting in trouble at school. I started suffering with at home with OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah.
Where like if I touch something once, I'd have to touch it
So-
3 more times
yeah.
to make 4, and it
Yeah.
started taking over my life. And I feel like now when I think back, that was me trying to get some sort of control over my life as a kid.
Yeah, of course.
And I started getting patches on my skin. And then when I looked into that recently, that's from stress.
Yeah.
So even from a little girl, all these things were physically and emotionally affecting
Affecting
me.
you. Oh, wow. And in terms of like your dad not being there, and then was you in contact with him? Was at that particular time, was you in contact? Calling? No.
Not really.
No.
I think back in those days, we didn't really have mobiles or anything. So it'd just be like a
Yeah.
house phone or a page or whatever. But
Yeah.
not really. No,
No.
I didn't really have much contact with him. But again, like I said, my stepdad was that one for me
Yeah.
until him and my mum split up.
Oh, wow.
And then again, that became an issue for me.
Yeah. So in terms of school, tell me a little bit about school, because I know you said that you was fighting. Is that where did that all start? Did that start straight away, or was that when your
think-
dad went to New York? Where
I don't
was
know the exact, I can't pinpoint it, but I think it was probably around 7 or 8
Right.
where, you know, I was getting into trouble. I was craving attention. So this
Right.
attention that I think that I was craving from my dad, it kind of came out in terms of school. So I'd be getting into trouble all the time. My mum would have to go into the school to speak to the head teacher. I started bedwetting as well at around the age of 8.
Right.
And again, that's to do with like traumatic experiences. Yeah, I just feel like all my behaviours were a direct root of what was going on the inside,
Most definitely.
but no one actually took time to understand what was going on.
And in that not taking that time, was anyone identifying that, or because I know as our own culture we'd say, oh, she's rude or she's bad or he's whatever, and they don't kind of look into, you know, like bedwetting. That's like big signs of trauma, abuse, all of those. And I learned that because I'm a mental health practitioner, so I learned that now. But when I was younger, those little things, my parents wouldn't have known that. They would have just thought, oh, she's wetting the bed and that's it, you know, because I wet the bed as well. That was my sign of trauma. It's when I got older, I was like, hold on, that's actually linked to that based on, you know, what they say. So in terms of your parents, your stepfather, your mum, were they not saying that you're, you know, were they overlooking those bits and just saying that you're being naughty, or what was that like?
I think my stepdad now was no longer in the house like that anymore because they'd split up.
Okay,
So it was my mum looking after her 2 daughters, and no one looked into why these things were happening. They just saw these things happening, and, you know, I was labelled in school as like the naughty one, the loud one. And this is just in primary school.
Wow.
It got worse in secondary school, but we'll get there. But
Yeah.
and again, not having my stepdad fully around as much anymore was really difficult, but would see him every single weekend. So again, I looked forward to that time, just spending that time with my stepdad on the weekend and my sister.
Right. Okay. And your mum, what was your mum's life like? Was she busy working? Was she out? You know, what was that? What was she like?
No, my mum at the time, she didn't work. She was always at home with us. So my
Okay.
mum's a very present mum, and I'm really close to my mum.
Yeah.
But I think she probably didn't have I can't even think of what the word is. She didn't have what she needed to be able to understand what was going on with me.
Yeah.
I feel like back in those days as well, things were different. Things weren't looked into as much. If you're struggling or suffering with like bedwetting and stuff, we didn't really have mental health advocates or
No.
people in the schools that would look into this
Good
or
stuff. Yeah.
no, we didn't really have that. So there was not much support at the time.
And so when you left, did you carry on in through primary? Because I know some children, they don't go to secondary, they're too rude or too... Did you go into secondary school?
Yeah, so before I went to secondary school, my stepdad told my sister and I, he sat us down on one of these weekends that we spent with him, and he told us that he was moving abroad for a year for work.
Wow.
So again, it's gone
Another.
from finally like, in the house, finally got a dad,
Yes.
then not seeing him only on weekends to
Wow.
now he's going away for a year. We'll see him in a year's time. And again, for me, that was really difficult. But he said to us, he was like, I promise you both. He said, I'm going away for a year. I'm coming back in a year's time. And I promise you both, I'm going to call you both every single day until I come back. And I thought, you know what? I think I can hold on to that because he's made a promise and he's going to call us every single day. When he went abroad for work, he didn't call us for 4 years. Yep.
No way.
And this was just before secondary school. So for me, that was the worst in that, like, I've not only been rejected by one dad, I've been rejected by the other person that I thought was my dad or father figure. And that really broke me as a young girl, like early teen, going into secondary school and just feeling like, you know, I said to my mum, I said, why do none of my dads want me? And I felt like men leave and that I'm the reason that men leave my life. And that's the mindset I went into secondary school.
Wow. It's so deep because,
I know.
and the deepness of it is that, you know, us women, I really sincerely, because I did a talk about, you know, that I really believe that our fathers need to be in their daughter's life because we end up not even valuing ourselves. We don't like, and when we meet guys, we're actually looking for love in these guys. We're looking for the father love, but we're not looking for love in them, but they feel like, oh, and then they can take that. We're quite vulnerable. We'll just take anything because we want something and we don't know what it is, but it's really the father's love that we were looking for.
That's exactly what happened.
So tell me a little bit about what happened after that.
So, going into secondary school, I then, from the age of 14, lost my virginity.
Wow.
And then became very promiscuous in school because I was seeking that validation.
Yes.
Like, even if it was like for one night where someone, it felt like I had validation, even if I never got spoke to again the next day, I felt valued for that moment.
Yeah.
And that in secondary school at the age of 14 onwards got me into a lot of issues. So I was getting, I had a really bad reputation in school. Girls didn't like me. I started getting bullied really badly. Boys, in my eyes, were just using me. But for me, no one understood. Like, no one knew why I was behaving this way. Like, no one knew that I was seeking something that I had never got, that had been taken from me or rejected and then taken from me. And I'm seeking that in boys because I don't know how else to express that. And that's how... And I feel like even today when I speak to like a lot of people and I say, don't judge young women when you see them acting a certain way because you don't know what it is that they might be seeking or dealing with within. Like, it's, So bad reputation, getting bullied, started getting suicidal thoughts, really hated myself.
Wow.
I remember standing probably about the age of 15, staring at myself in the mirror, pointing to myself saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you.
Wow.
Like, I really was a very, very broken young girl because of the rejections that I'd faced, and I felt like I had no value. That wasn't worth a father or anyone loving me.
Wow. And did you ever express any of that to anyone at any point?
No.
That you hated yourself and you didn't say anything to no one? You just carried on?
I just feel like my lifestyle itself would have screamed that if adults had actually looked into my behaviours. Because again, even in secondary school, like, just my behaviour was not the best. There'd be times where I'd be like not going to school because I've got like boys that are older than me, like picking me up in the morning, taking me with them to like Manchester and stuff.
Wow.
Like, no one really took time to figure out
what's going on. And at home, was you quite rebellious to your mum? Was you rude to your mum? Or, you know, like, obviously these boys picked you up, took you to Manchester. Would your mum say, where are you? Or would she be arguing you, telling you you're not coming home? What would that look like?
She didn't really know that I was not going to school because back in those days, again, schools didn't really call your
Call the
parents like they do
parents,
today.
yeah, it's so true.
And at home, there were times my mum would be like out with her friends and stuff on the evening, so
Yeah.
she wouldn't even notice that I'd been out and come back.
Wow.
Or had invited boys to the house and she'd not known. Like, she didn't really know what was going on. Yeah. So I wasn't rebellious in terms of my mum.
Okay.
But then when I started getting bullied by girls from another school, my mum wondered what was going on because I was getting bullied because of a boy that I'd went out with that now went out with another girl. And I started getting like physically abused by these girls whenever they saw me.
Wow.
And my mum wanted to know why, and we had police involved. And yeah, it was really bad.
Wow. And in terms of like, so did your mum look at you as like a good girl at home in terms of, and was you disguising that as being, you know, good? But obviously outside you was doing other stuff. Did you disguise that so she didn't know?
I think so. I think I was just good at anyway. I feel like I was good at home.
Yeah.
But I think my mum, like, if I had cousins where like boys would tell my female cousins about, oh, your cousin Chantell, blah blah blah, this guy knows her, that guy knows her, and my cousin would always feed back to my mum.
Right.
So I'd get in trouble about it. But again, no one took time to actually figure out why.
Right, I hear you. Yeah, so that's quite deep. So tell me a little bit about the bullying and you know, what kind of, did anything come out of that?
Yeah, so the girls that were bullying me that were from another school, whenever they saw me, they would attack me. So I got attacked by about 20 girls when I was in this Birmingham City Centre, just jumping on me, attacking me. I had my face bitten, like my literal cheek was like hanging off.
No
We had the
way.
police involved. I'd get attacked at fairs. I had SLAG written on my front door on my white front door in black marker, like permanent marker. My mum was actually scared for my life. She was scared for my life, and also she didn't want to live in Birmingham anymore because she thought like, you know, something might happen to me. But I was at a point where I was like, I don't want to go to Birmingham. Like, I don't want to move out of Birmingham. She actually wanted us to move to London.
Really?
And I was like, I don't want to move. But for her to have a daughter that every time she leaves the house, that's difficult because she don't know what's going to happen while I'm out. And yeah, that got worse. But the time that really was a real trigger for my mum was when I got stabbed at 16.
Wow.
Yeah. But that wasn't by these girls. That was a girl that I went to school with. So
Tell me a bit about that story.
yeah, that story's so deep because I was literally doing my GCSEs, just not long term, well, a few months after turning 16, doing the GCSEs, and I remember just walking home from school with my best friend, and out of the blue, I just said to my best friend, like, I really like your coat, like, let's swap coats. So we did, because her coat was really nice, whatever. You're 16, you just do that, don't you? And about half an hour later, we ended up walking past another girl's house who I thought was my friend, and she came out of her house and she started an argument with me. So I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, why are we arguing? So she attacked me. Her sister and another girl came out and both attacked me. And whilst my best friend was trying to get them off me, she pulled out this like thick bread knife and she stabbed me in my back. Yeah, and I was rushed to hospital at this point. And then when I got to the hospital, the doctor said, he said, I don't believe in luck, but he said, you're very lucky, Chantell. He said, the coat that you was wearing saved your life.
Wow.
He said, the coat that I had on, the denim jacket, where I'd got stabbed was right behind my heart. But because the coat was thick, it stopped the knife from penetrating my heart.
Wow.
Otherwise, he said you probably wouldn't be here now.
Chantell.
I know.
But the switching of the coats, you know, the purpose. I'm sorry, we believe in purpose. We
Yeah, we
believe that,
do.
you know, we're not looking at no luck. We know
Yeah,
that's
no.
God's. But the switching of the coats at that time, at that precise time, and you're not expecting any. And what was the argument for? What?
I don't even know. It was so many years ago, but
Wow.
I don't know. But at that time, though, I did question why did I live? Because to me, that was my time to die. I was like, I could have died now, and that would have been me gone. So why am I still here? And I remember at that time as well, just saying to myself, if I'm alive in 10 years' time, which I didn't think I'd ever be,
Yeah.
I was like, because I thought either someone's going to kill me, I'm going to take my life. And I thought, if I'm alive in 10 years' time, I'm going to have to write a book about my life because the amount of things that I've been experiencing already at 16, there's got to be a reason for it. But I didn't think I was going to be alive in 10 years' time.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a really difficult time, and then weeks after getting stabbed and having the bandages still on my back, or 2 weeks, I went to a baby dedication, and the same girls that had bullied me before were there, and they attacked me there when I was leaving in the taxi, and I still got my bandages on from getting stabbed, all my hair ripped out, like all of this is going on after I just got stabbed.
I don't know how you've done it all.
I don't know. Yeah.
Just thinking about the whole,
Yeah.
and looking at you here where you are today.
Yeah.
But tell me about how you was feeling. How was you? Can you remember that emotion? Tell me a little bit about the emotions of, all of it really.
Just
The bullying, the stabbing. What was that emotion?
Worthless and lonely and not wanting to live, and just my life just felt dark. Everything just felt dark.
Wow. And did you get any counselling, anything at that point?
So my mum tried to take me to a counsellor, and I went to see him once. And I remember going back to my mum saying, "I'm not mad. I don't need to see a counsellor." But I know now that I should have carried on. But in my eyes, back in those days, those things were frowned upon.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone does therapy now, but
Yeah.
back in those days, and I keep saying back in those
Too
days,
much stigma, innit? It was a lot of stigma.
This was a very long. This was 2002, so that was a very long time ago. And
Yeah.
back in those days, no one really had counselling, and if they did, it was quiet. And I just felt like, I'm not mad. I don't need to see a counsellor. But then, things started to get even worse after that as well. They got worse till they got better.
Really? So what else went on after that?
So a couple of months after getting stabbed, I met a boy. I was working at McDonald's at this point. I was going to college, and I met this boy. I just turned 17. First time we actually did whatever we did together. I got pregnant for him. I got called every name under the sun, telling me, "This is not my baby. I've heard all about you. Everyone knows what you like."
Or was you pregnant by this time?
I was pregnant now at this point,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And this is what he wants me to not have this baby, basically. And I decided...
How old was you then?
17.
17, okay.
So I decided at 17 that I'm going to have my baby because I want to be able to have like some sort of purpose and to love someone and for them to love me back.
Yep.
So when my daughter was nearly born, he was like, "Well, I think we should get together for the sake of the child then." So I was like, okay. And so we did. And I was then, from the age of 17, was then in a very abusive, physically and emotionally and verbally abusive relationship where this boy would beat me up like literally like all the time. He was verbally abusive to me. Just I was now in a domestic abusive relationship at the age of 17.
Wow. And that lasted for?
It lasted until he went to prison when I was about 19. Wow. But overall, I was harassed by him until he passed away in 2020. And my daughter was 18 at this point.
No way. And you're still being harassed?
I was still being harassed, yeah. I'll get to that point. Yeah.
Chantell, no, I think this podcast needs like about 4 weeks. We can't even cover any of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to like breeze through it as quick as I can because I know there's so much to say. But yeah, so when I was 19, he went to prison. Mm-hmm. So now I'm here with a 3-year-old child or 2-year-old child, just going to college. And I remember I met this guy who was a drug dealer, and he made me feel valued again because he showed me attention, and that's all. I just needed a little bit, a hint of attention, and I'm yours, basically.
We're back to that place again. Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was one time where he said to me, he was like, "If you're going to be with me, you need to make money. Like, you can't just be with me and not make money as well." And I was like, okay. And I remember at the age of 19 being driven around London and Birmingham, strip clubs, trying to look for a strip club for me to work in. And from the age of 19, I then became a lap dancer and worked in strip clubs for 4 years.
No way. So where was your baby at this time?
She'd always be like with her dad's mom, or on the weekends, or like my mom or her nan, her dad's mom.
Did anyone know that you was working in a strip club at that time? Any of your family? Or?
I think a couple of my family knew, but they didn't say. I think they knew, but they didn't want to ask me. But yeah, and it was the most darkest place I could have ever worked. But for me, I thought that by being in that field, I'd get validation, which is what I craved, and also money. And I did get money, but the validation, it just made me feel worse. It made me feel like this is all I'm worth. Like there's nothing else. And that's why I stayed for 4 years, because I didn't feel like I had anything else going for me.
Really?
Yep.
And was there any issues while you were in this lap dancing place? Was there any?
wasn't-
problems, or if it was it just?
It wasn't like that. I think it's just like the setting itself. Like a lot of the women that were in there were actually on like took drugs to get through the night. I was scared of drugs, so I would like sit in my car outside, neck a whole bottle of wine in the car, go in there, pretend to be this confident woman, make money, and go home and cry myself to sleep because I was still empty and I was still missing something.
Wow. So that missing something, is that still your father at that point?
I thought it was. I thought it was my father.
Wow. So what was the conclusion?
Okay.
Or have you got something else before you get to that conclusion?
No, I've got the conclusion. So, in that year, some weird stuff happened to me. So, I finally got to visit my dad. This was in my 20th.
Is that did you go to New York?
In New York, yeah, and I
Okay.
brought my daughter with me. I was meant to stay there for 3 weeks. I ended up staying there for a week because some weird stuff happened, like real weird spiritual stuff happened to me. So whilst I was there, I remember I was walking back from this like supermarket with my dad and my daughter, and this woman came up to me and she said, "How long was you with your daughter's dad? No, when you got pregnant for your daughter's dad, how long was he with his girlfriend before you got pregnant?" And I thought, oh, wow, how does she know? Because he told me after when I got pregnant that he'd had a girlfriend that split up with him when she found out I was pregnant, but I didn't know. So I was like, oh my gosh, this woman knows some stuff about my life. And she was like, oh, I'm a psychic. And I was like, oh, wow. And she said, your daughter's dad, he was with this girl before you when you got pregnant. I said, yeah. And she said, this girl was heavily into witchcraft. Her mum was. And she said to her mum, what can I do to make him love me more? This sounds like a really crazy story.
No.
Honestly.
I believe.
No, same. Like what happened? She said, this girl asked her mum what she could do to make him love her more. So this mum spoke about this spell and this drink that she can make. And then when he drinks it and he sleeps with her, he'll be obsessed with her for the rest of his life.
Wow.
She said, but on the day that he went to her house and he drank this drink, he didn't sleep with her. That was the same day that he slept with you, which is the day that I got pregnant. She goes, and what it was that he was supposed to be obsessed with her has transferred to you. So now he's going to be obsessed with you for the rest of his life. And I was like, oh, that's so true. Like, what? And because I knew that he had this kind of obsession over me. And she said, you've got this curse within you. Because I didn't know anything about God at this point, like that. So I'm just, whatever wind's pulling me, I'm just listening.
Listening, of course.
She was like, you've got this curse in you, so we're going to get it out of you tomorrow. And I said, okay. And she said, what I want you to do, I want you to go to your dad's today, buy some eggs, sleep with one next to the bed, bring that same egg to see me, like with you tomorrow. So I was like, okay, I will do. So I got this egg, slept with it next to the bed. This is real witchcraft that she's doing on me, but I didn't even realise. Brought this egg back to this woman the next day. She goes, what we're going to do, she goes, you're going to hold this egg over you and you're going to say these chants after me and we're going to cleanse you of this curse and it's going to go into the egg. And it's a real spell because I've read into this recently. Like it was a real weird demonic spell. So she's like, chant whatever. So I'm chanting with this egg. She goes, put the egg down. She goes, when you break the egg, you're going to see the curse in the egg. So after 3, I did 1, 2, 3, brought the egg, and there was just like some big black root thing in the middle of this egg.
No way.
So I screamed.
So hold on, where did you get the eggs from?
I bought it from the shop.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I slept with that egg next to the bed,
Wow.
like she told me to.
Yeah.
You see when I done that? She's like, right, I'm going to bury that egg, and whatever the curse is going to think that you're dead, so it's not going to bother you anymore, blah, blah, blah. But then after that, I started feeling this, like when I left there, I felt this weird, like dark, it's a feeling I'd never experienced before. And I was like, I can't stay in America anymore. So I rang my mum, I was like, Mum, can you just send me some money so I can come home earlier? So I went back home. During this time, back in the strip clubs, I came across a radio station called UCB, a Christian radio station.
Yeah.
So even though I'd come back and I felt really strange, I'd stumbled across a Christian radio station at the same time. And I remember hearing about these words of this man called Jesus and how he's a father to the fatherless and how he died for us so that we could live. And I remember crying my eyes out thinking, who is this Jesus? Like, I don't have a father. Like, I want to know who this father is to the fatherless.
Yeah, of course.
And every single week for the next 7 months, I'd go to work, come back home and put UCB on because I wanted to hear about this man called Jesus. And I believe during that year, that was where God had started to do an inward work in my heart.
Yes.
Because there'd be times where I could have went into work and make money and I didn't want to go and I didn't know why. And God had begun a work within me that no one else had seen.
Wow. So deep. So in terms of like, obviously you came back and obviously the witchcraft, did you obviously deal with that again, or did anything come out of how you felt, or did your partner, the partner at the time, I mean...
I had a different boyfriend at this time.
Oh, really?
When I got back from New York, I had a different boyfriend. I was going out with this boy in London, and I remember I knew there was a dark cloud over my head because I started feeling like, if this boy leaves me, I'm going to kill myself. Really? So I started feeling like, and I used to beg him, please don't ever cheat on me, because if you do, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I felt like I had no control over myself anymore.
And that was from what happened when you was in New York? Wow.
But then at the same time, like I said, I started listening to UCB and stuff.
Yeah.
And the day that I actually walked out of the lap dancing club was probably about almost a year after going to America. Being in this club and feeling like I need to go to church in the morning. Now, no one had invited me. I just had this overwhelming feeling that I have to go to church tomorrow and I don't know why. And I remember I couldn't shake this feeling. And it got to like 2 a.m. I went to this boss and I said, I need to leave early. And he's like, why? And I said, I don't know why, but I have to go to church in the morning.
Wow.
And he looked me up and down. And he started laughing. He was like, you? He said, if you walked into church, you would set on fire. But he was speaking prophetically over my life because I am really on fire for God. But at the time, I was just like, I don't care. I just have to go to church tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I left, messaged my mum's friend who I knew was a Christian. She said, I said, can I come to church? She said, of course you can. It starts at this time. Yeah. And I remember going to this service and sitting in this service and again hearing about Jesus and about how he died for us and, the gospel. And I remember sitting at the back of church just crying. And during that service, one of the ministers was like, if anyone in this room wants to open up their heart and give their life to Jesus, put your hand in the air. But I didn't know what that meant. But I remember my arm was in the air. I was like, oh, okay. And then they called me forward. And it was quite a big service. And when I look back now, I can see it as that, the scripture where it says, a shepherd will have 100 sheep. And if one goes missing, he will leave the 99 to seek out that one lost sheep. 99, you'd think, okay, if I've got £1 in penny, whatever, and I lost 1p, I'm not even going to seek out that 1p because it's 1p. But that's how valuable we are to God. And he sought me out on that day, and I know I was that lost sheep because when I went forward prayer, I could not, when I started to pray with them, I couldn't stop crying, and I physically felt a weight lift off my shoulder. Physically, I actually felt something go off like this. And my life has never been the same again.
Amen. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what? I love the fact that when, that pulling that we get from God, that moment, because I remember that kind of happened to me. And I remember I was actually with this guy and I said to him, I don't want to do this anymore. I actually want God. And he was like, he's looking at me like I'm crazy. I said, this is over. And he was like, and I said, nah, I need God. And I literally, after that, I got saved.
That's exactly when I left church that day, it was literally similar to what you just said. I called my nan, because my nan on my dad's side was the only Christian that I knew, proper, in my family. And I remember ringing my nan saying, Nan. And she was like, yes. I was like, I'm a Christian. And she's like, hallelujah. And speaking in tongues and everything on the phone. Yeah. And she was like, how you've got that boyfriend? I said, yes. She goes, that you can't do nothing with him now. I was like, okay, then Nan, give me a call. I'll call you back in a minute. I'll call you back. Call you back. Yeah. I called him. And I was like, hi. He was like, hi. I was like, guess what? He was like, what? I was like, I'm a Christian. He's like, well done, babe. I just got some certificate. And he was like, well done, babe. Proud of you. I said, you know that we can't sleep together now? And he said, well, do you think I want to be with a girl that I can't sleep with? And I said, well, I can't be with you then. And for me, who was desperate for male attention and validation, who's begging this guy to never leave me, I'm going to kill myself. At that moment, I broke up with him. Because the real man that my heart had always desired had fully stepped into my heart, and nothing else mattered to me at that time but Jesus.
Yeah. And I love it, that the fact that you saw him, Jesus, God, as Your husband now.
He filled my heart at the same day, the same moment. Like when I asked God into my heart,
Yeah.
he filled that void
Yeah.
immediately. Like I was able to ring this boy and say, well, I can't be with you then. God filled it straight away.
He just validates us,
He
doesn't he?
validates me. And I know now that that void that I always felt was not from my dad. It was
Yes.
from God.
Yes.
Because now I've got an amazing relationship with my dad.
Wow.
But God had to fill that void first. Which was him.
That's amazing.
I know, God's good. I love him.
God has got you, girl. So tell me, like, so obviously you've gone down your journey as a Christian after all what's gone on. Tell me a little bit about the journey of going into, you know, Christ, and tell me a bit about where you are now, and, you know, how God's blessed you. And
He's, I can't even express, like, he's completely changed my life. From the moment that I said yes to God, it's like an inward work had begun. So it wasn't, I was completely changed the next day. Mm-hmm. He started to work within me.
Yeah.
He started to show me my value in him. I started writing a lot more, like writing poems and stuff. And around that same time, I felt like it was time to start writing my book.
wow.
But my book took me 10 years to write because there was things that was in this book that I didn't want people to know. But I remember sharing with a friend, and I was like, well, if you don't let people know, Chantell, how are they supposed to know that they can come through what you've been through?
Yes.
So I was like, okay. Yes, so much happened. God restored my relationship properly with my dad. Like, me and my dad are like this now. My
Wow.
stepdad, we talk all the time now. He's still there, by the way. He said he'll come back the year later. He's never come back.
Really?
He's still in Canada. I said to my mum, what have you done to these men? One's in New York, one's in Canada. Like, what? But I now know it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I wasn't the reason. My daughter, my daughter's grown up. She's a grown woman now. I got married in 2016. I've been married for like nearly 10 years.
Oh, amazing.
I've got a 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
Just in Christ, God, you know that scripture says he calls the foolish things of the world to conform the wise.
Yeah.
In my family, on my mum's side, my mum's one of 10 siblings.
Yep.
Not one, and I've got loads of cousins. Not one of them at that point was saved.
Right.
You know, when you say you're Christian, you tip the thing on the
Yeah.
sheet or whatever,
Yeah.
but you're not really born again. So I was the first Christian practicing in my family.
Wow.
And I was the one that you'd least likely think would be the first Christian.
Yeah,
But
of
God had to do that.
Yeah.
Since then, I've got cousins all saved.
Wow.
Aunties all saved. I've been praying consistently for 17 years for like my mom, my sister. My mom got baptised the other day. My sister got baptised the other day. My daughter got baptised all the past few months.
Wow.
Just got baptised. I've got aunties baptised now.
Come on.
God called me first, but now my
Yes.
whole family now
Yeah.
know him.
Yeah.
My God.
And you know, you're looking at your story, looking at your experience and what you've gone through. They would look at if she got saved.
That's what happened.
I can be saved. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they looked at that story
Yeah.
and looked at, you know, that's quite embarrassing. That's shameful.
Yeah.
But if God can change her life around, why can't he can do mine?
Yeah, and it's like when I first shared my story ever, like just like on a platform, I remember I went to an event to share a poem.
Yeah.
And this guy had shared his story about being in the gang and all that, and all this, you know, what God had done in his life. And I remember inside feeling, I feel like I want to share my story. And the minute I thought it, my friend looked over to me and she went, Shan, and she was like, you need to share your story. And she went, all of it. So I shared my story on that platform, and then I put it onto Facebook. And I remember the next day I had this was like years ago, I had aunties and stuff ringing me, take that down, you can't be telling people your business. Because in our community, culture, you're not supposed to tell people your business and all of this. Take that down, Even my mum. And I said, and I remember sitting with my mum, I said, Mum, this is what I've been called to do and I have to.
Yeah.
Because God has told me I have to be transparent.
Yeah.
And when I explained it to my mum and why I'm doing it, from she supported me, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Now, all my family come with me, all my aunties will come with me to events, and if I'm going somewhere, they'll be there, and I'll share my story, and they're sitting there crying, say, we're so proud of you. Just what it took one person to open up and share their story.
It's
And
so
sometimes
true.
it only takes one person to do that.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it makes people realise that they don't have to sit under shame either, because that shame has liberated my life.
Yeah,
like
of course.
coming out from that shame and being able to share.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, people spoke about me in a negative way.
Yeah.
And they spoke my story for me. But now I can speak my own story and give God the glory at the
Glory
same time. So they
time.
can't talk about my story because I will tell my story myself.
Yeah.
They can't hold that over me.
They can't hold,
No.
yeah. And I love that. I love the fact that, you know, they have no hold over.
Nope.
That's because you're not there anymore. You're just trying to help someone else that either they won't get there or they can come out of,
Yeah.
what they're in, and that's why I put this show on.
I love it.
To help women, help men that are still locked up, that still got masks on, that don't want to talk about, what they've gone through, and having people like yourself come here and really share that story. And trust me, I thank God for your life.
Thank you. I thank God for I honestly thank God for my life. And I do always say to God, like, thank you for not letting me die, even though I wanted to at the time.
Yeah.
Because he saw something in me that I didn't see. And I know I'm here for such a time as this now. I know that I've got a voice that, the same voice that they tried to silence in the past is now the same voice that is being asked to speak and share on, amazing big things, like with all the stuff that I'm doing with my work. And even like, I was an ambassador over the past, 2018 to 2020. I was an ambassador for UCB, where I travel around the UK, being booked to share my story. And just even with the work that I do now, like, I wouldn't be able to do I've got my own business now, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do now if I didn't have my story.
Come on now. Tell us a little bit about that so people know, like, what you do.
So I launched my business about 2023, and it's called Living Without Limits.
Right.
And what we do is, like, go into, like, schools, deliver, like, workshops on so many different things, like knife crime, sexual exploitation, healthy relationships, consent, just, like, loads of different things. But not only workshops, I do, like, mentoring in schools as well, children's homes. I work with a lot of young people. And the reason why I launched it is because I wanted to be for them who I needed when I was their age.
Yeah.
And when I was their age, I had nobody to talk to.
Yes,
and I know
of
how that
course.
affected me. So now I'm like, I have to be for them who I needed.
Yeah.
And it's just blown up so amazing. Like, God has opened up so much doors where, like, police have wanted to work with me, councils. I've been asked to speak at a serious youth violence conference in Somerset in a few weeks' time as the keynote speaker. I'm like, me, the keynote speaker?
It's just God.
When you get, like, a little bit of imposter syndrome, but, like, why not? Like, I've got experiences of serious
course.
of youth violence.
Yeah.
And just last year, I was speaking at an event for the Home Office. So I was speaking in a room full of government officials.
Wow.
I'm like, God, like, when I was younger, I used to get told I speak too much. You can probably tell now because I can go on for ages.
No.
I was told when I was younger, your mouth's doing more mileage than the car. Like, I was a speaker, but the same thing that they tried to shame me over is the same thing that God called me to do. That was my gift.
Yeah.
Speaking is my gift. I know it is.
Yes.
I'm very good at it, speaking. I love to talk.
No, and it's amazing because, like, I always just look at the purpose of, like, what you went through. Your pain has turned into power.
Yeah.
And I know that was our title as well, that the
Yeah.
pain has turned into power. And all that pain that you went through, all that rejection, all that shame, all that hurt has just turned into your power. And look what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
doing great exploits, all over.
Yeah.
And, God has still got more.
Yeah.
That's the bits that you've done and the things that you've done
Yeah.
is just the beginning. So it's just so amazing to.
I just don't know what it's like. It's just because even when my book was published, I got interviewed by, like, BBC News. I did it on their radio station. They wanted my story. They wanted my full story. Like, they wanted even the stuff about God. Like, they was like, you're the first story that we shared on our station about God. And I was like, wow. I got they wanted to film it. It went viral on their BBC webpage. Like, even in secular places.
Yeah.
God's putting my voice out there, to, like,
yeah. 'Cause he's getting
minister
all the
to
glory.
people. Yeah, because it's all about him.
Him.
He's amazing, and I'm truly, truly honoured and grateful to be able to use that because I know there's a lot of people that have been through stuff and it's held them in bondage.
Yeah.
Whereas God's allowed me to use that pain, and that just really fuels me when I'm sitting with, like, a young girl and she's saying, Miss, you've shown me that, my life can get better. When I hear that, or Miss, because of your life and you sharing your story, I will share with you now why self-harm, and this is the reason. Because of the pain, God's using that to reach these kids that feel like they haven't got anyone that will hear them.
Yeah. Chantell.
God's good, isn't he?
I know. And I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you.
But I just want you to tell someone who may be in your situation that you was when you was a child, just to encourage them if they've got a mask on, they're hidden, they don't know what to do next. Just want you to encourage anyone.
Yeah, so I just want to say, if someone's feeling like really lonely, really down, depressed, feeling like they're worthless, just remember that our worth is found in Christ, and it can't be found anywhere else. And I've been out there in the world, and sometimes the world is more like, it's self-medicating, like when you're out there drinking, clubbing, finding that validation in men, but it can't be found anywhere but in God. And we all have a purpose, and every single thing that we've been through, nothing is ever wasted in God's economy. So even the most painful things can actually be used for purpose. So I just want to encourage somebody, hopefully.
And if you was to tell your younger self, what would you tell your younger self now?
Oh, that's a deep question. I thought that was going to make me cry. That's a deep one. Oh gosh, that's such a hard question. I would say to my younger self, you're going to make it, and you don't have to let people use you to feel validated, because you are going to make it.
Yeah. Oh.
And you will be happy one day.
And you are.
And I am.
Yes.
I really am. I'm grateful for life. I'm happy to be here. I love my life. I love being alive. I love waking up every day. I just love my life. And I also love and understand the stuff that I went through, why I had to go through it.
Yeah.
And I understand purpose. And when we think about, like, even in the Bible, some of the most greatest people in the Bible went through the most distressing times and horrible things, but they made it, and God brought them through. Like, look at Joseph, and David, and all of them. Like, they went through their stuff, and God kept them, and they did great exploits for God.
Wow, you're amazing.
So are you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're amazing. I thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that it's but we are gonna you are gonna come to our panel and really have a real good, a safe space to speak to women and men, in terms of, and give them a broader,
Of course.
and the time. I know it's time that we haven't got to, go into more depth.
Yeah, because there's so much more, but we do not have the time today.
Yeah, but we'll do it when we get we
Yeah.
get you down for the panel, and you can really go in and and share and stuff. But I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing. I'm really grateful to
thank
be
you.
here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was our lovely Chantell. Oh, an amazing, amazing story. And we are going to get her back. Don't worry, we're going to get her back, and she's going to share a bit more in depth around other stuff that, she's dealt with as well. But thank you for watching, and I will see you again on Mel's Truthful Tuesday. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.
Check it out, check it out, check it out.